How long does it take to make $1 million? It's said that behind every overnight success is a 10-year journey, and getting rich quick is a trap, but I don't think that's actually true 100% of the time. So I did some digging and found some of the fastest ways someone made $1 million, starting with Flappy Bird. So Flappy Bird was a mobile game that went really viral at the start of 2014. And at its peak, it was making around $50,000 a day from the in-game ads. But the interesting thing about this was that it only took around 2 to 3 days to make, which has to be some kind of world record for how much money someone made for just 2 to 3 days of work. I bet you can make a game similar to this even if you have no experience coding within like a week or two. A big reason why this worked has to be how simple it was. All you do is tap the screen to get the bird to go through the pipes. There's no levels, there's no upgrades, it's literally just tapping the screen. And pretty much every single person with a smartphone can try the game out without having to go through like a 20-minute tutorial. And it seems simple enough that you think that you can get a better score, but it's actually pretty hard to get one, so you keep trying over and over and over again. So even though this made around $1 to $3 million total, this game could have made a lot more if the developer didn't shut it down, because he kind of felt bad that the people that were playing the game were getting too addicted and spending too much time on it. Plus, he also started getting a ton of news reporters annoying him since he literally became an overnight celebrity because of the game. So the next one is also kind of like Flappy Bird. It's a game called Wordle. And don't worry, all of these aren't gonna be games, but it is interesting that simple games like these can make millions pretty fast. But I bet there's also a ton of games like this that don't make any money at all. So Wordle is a pretty simple game. There's a 5-letter word and you have to guess what it is within 6 guesses. If the word has a letter you guessed, it turns yellow. If it's in the right place, it turns green. This launched in October 2021, and just 3 months later in January 2022, it was bought by the New York Times for $1 to $3 million. So there's 3 reasons I think this worked as well as it did. The first reason is that it's simple and incredibly clean. Everyone can try guessing the word of the day. And since it's only 5 letters, it's like the perfect balance of easy enough to like try, but still kinda challenging. The second is that it's limited to 1 word per day. This means that everyone in the world is guessing the same word, and when you do figure it out, it's like you're in on a secret. The third, and I would say biggest reason this ended up going viral, is the emoji sharing grid. I first started seeing people share these square colored emojis on Twitter, and everyone was wondering what that meant. Like, if you see it once, you don't really care, but when you see it a few different times, and everyone's talking about it like it's a secret, you need to find out what's going on. Plus, it became like a low stakes competition, and people were sharing their results to low-key flex. Since this went viral, there was obviously a bunch of clones that popped up, and it's really interesting. The top 2 or 3 results after the official Wordle are both getting like 4 million monthly views each. Like the first one is Wordle Unlimited, so you can play more than once per day. And the second one also has a bunch of other simple games like this. If the only way they monetize is through ads, then they're probably making around $61,000 per month. Next up is Lensa AI. So Lensa AI is a photo editing app and it's mainly used to make you look better by getting rid of imperfections. Kinda like how Snapchat filters make your skin look good, which already a great business to be in my opinion. Because no matter how much people say that you should love yourself for who you are and all your imperfections, the truth is that 99.99% of people won't say no to looking better. It's why the beauty industry is so huge. So near the end of 2022, Lensa AI launched something called Magic Avatars. The idea was that you could upload a few photos on their app and they would make AI avatars of you that looked really cool. I know the hype around AI has died down a lot and a lot of people are even AI haters now, but when this launched, this was the app everyone was using. And it makes sense, right? Imagine showing this to someone 20 years ago. You upload a few photos and you get back these incredible portraits of yourself in a few minutes. It's like magic. So obviously this goes incredibly viral, and in a month and a half, Lensa AI makes around $37.5 million. That's literally more than $1 million per day. So the funny thing is, before Lensa AI, there was actually a first wave of the AI avatar hype. A really popular creator called Peter Levels made something called Avatar AI, and that was pretty much the first AI avatar making thing that went viral. It made a few $100,000 in a few weeks, and then it kind of died down. The thing about that though was that you could only use it on your desktop and it was kind of annoying to use. So it was kind of obvious that if someone made this for an app, it would kind of be successful. But everyone that knew about it felt like the hype kind of died down and this idea wouldn't really work that well anymore. But then, Lensa AI comes out with their Magic Avatars feature and literally makes 38 times more than what the first AI avatar thing made. Which just goes to show you that even online, location and where you decide to sell your product matters a lot. Okay, next up is a classic in the fastest ways someone made $1 million space. and it is the $1 million homepage. This was one of those ideas that can only work once in the entire world. So this was made in 2005 when the internet was still kinda new. And the idea behind this was having a website that has a 1000 by 1000 pixel grid and selling each pixel for $1 each. So if you sell all 1 million pixels, you make $1 million. So this was made by a guy called Alex Tew because he wanted to figure out a way to pay for uni. Now it seems kind of stupid, why would anyone want to buy a pixel on some random website? But think about it, if you hear about a guy that's doing this, you want to know if it's working or not. You want to see how much money he's actually made from this stupid idea. And because the website name is so simple, milliondollarhomepage.com, you go to the website and you check it out. Maybe even click on a few links from people that bought space on the website. And because everyone else also wants to find out how this thing is doing, it starts going viral and gets a ton of traffic. Brands that want to advertise and get more customers see your website getting hundreds of thousands of visitors per month, and now they feel like they're missing out by not being on the website. So now they buy pixels on the website so they don't feel like they're missing out. And thanks to this viral loop, milliondollarhomepage.com ends up making $1 million in 4 months. And all it costs was $50 to register the domain and make the website. Also, did you know that the guy who made this also founded the Calm meditation app, which is now worth like $2 billion? Okay, so the next one is FTX. The same FTX that turned out to be a scam and whose founder, Sam Bankman-Fried, is now in jail. So before FTX became this huge company which turned out to be a scam, in 2017, Sam Bankman-Fried literally made millions of dollars in the simplest way possible by doing something called a kimchi swap, also known as the Japanese premium. Basically, he noticed that Bitcoin cost more in Japan than it did in America. For example, if Bitcoin was $11,000 in Japan, it only cost $10,000 in America. So he would buy it for $10,000 in America, transfer it to Japan and sell it for $11,000, making $1,000 in profit every time. This was probably the closest thing to an infinite money loop to ever exist. It was literally free money. You buy low and sell high. And since everything is digital, you can do this over and over again without having to worry about things like shipping cost or cost of goods sold. Speaking of crypto, the next person who made $1 million really fast is the Dogecoin millionaire. Although he might not be a millionaire anymore because he refused to sell at the peak, but still. So the Dogecoin millionaire was this guy that got popular in 2021 when Dogecoin was at its peak. And he is probably one of the biggest examples of degen gambling working out for you. In 2020, he started seeing Dogecoin get popular online, and he decided to put his entire life savings of $250,000 all on Dogecoin. And he ended up making the right bet, since within a year when Dogecoin was at its peak hype, his wallet was worth around $2 million. I bet a ton of people saw him do this and tried doing what he did, only to end up losing money. Okay, so the next one isn't crypto related, it's just a normal business that sells physical products. And this business had one of the most viral launch videos of all time. That's right, it's Dollar Shave Club. So Dollar Shave Club is in the Marketing Hall of Fame for their launch video. I remember when this first came out, I was in high school and had just literally started shaving. So I was trying out different shavers to find out which one worked the best and didn't cost a ton of money. I don't remember how, but I ended up watching the video and I bought a box of shavers from Dollar Shave Club when they launched in Australia. It was literally a no-brainer offer since all the shavers at the time were like $10 to $15 and they were offering a shaver for $1 plus shipping. And a ton of other people also thought the same thing since they got 12,000 orders within 48 hours of their launch video. And by the end of their first year, they had 200,000 subscribers and millions of dollars in revenue. Plus, they also sold the business for $1 billion like 5 years later. By the way, I didn't really end up sticking with Dollar Shave Club since I didn't really like their razor. It was good, but the Chic Hydro 5 Power Select is the best. Plus, even though it's called Dollar Shave Club, it still ends up costing around the same as the other shavers after you add the premium option and shipping. So this next business is very interesting because the guy who started it was interviewed by AppSumo recently. So in the video, he talks about how he tracked every single hour he worked on the business. He worked on the business for a total of 783 hours and recently sold the business for $20 million. If you do the maths, that's around $34,000 per hour, which is just so cool that's possible. So the business is Support Shepherd, now renamed to Somewhere.com. The idea behind it was that hiring local people from countries like America is expensive. And you can hire people from countries like the Philippines, Eastern Europe or Argentina and other places like that for a lot cheaper. So usually, if you were to hire someone from a cheaper region, it's always really annoying and there's a lot of risk. You don't know where to find the people and you don't know if the people that you hire actually have the skills that you need for your business. What they did was reduce the risk and the downside of hiring overseas. They find and filter people to make sure they're actually good. They match the people that have the right skills to the role. They handle all the compliance and all the other stuff you need to worry about. Plus, they give you a 6-month guarantee. If you run a business and you find out that you can save around 70 to 80% of your salary cost, which is usually the biggest expense in any business, you're going to think about it. And since you're saving so much money, you can afford to pay Somewhere.com a few $1,000s. Now, I know a lot of people are probably thinking along the lines of, that's exploitation. If they're working the same amount, they should get paid the same amount as American people. Which, fair enough, but you don't get paid for what you can do. You get paid for what you can do and how replaceable you are. Also, if you think about it, that argument can be extended even more. It's like saying that you should hire a personal assistant for $50,000 a year so they can schedule meetings instead of using a tool like Calendly, which only costs like $15 a month. Or that you should hire your local tailor, if they still exist, instead of getting clothes from Kmart since they come from China. It doesn't really make sense. So that's 8 ways someone made $1 million fast. If you want to find out about more interesting businesses and ways people make money, check out bizexplorer.co.